Hello, amazing entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to day 6 of Tashmas. And today's episode, as per usual, is going to involve a little training and also a very special offer. So the training I want to talk about today, and a very interesting and meaty topic that I could spend hours talking about, is nailing your stage of business and when it's the right time to move on to the next level of strategy in your business as well. A lot of people come to me thinking that they're ready to create and launch online courses, but they actually haven't really nailed their niche, or they're trying to create this automated, drip-fed, amazing funnel, but they actually don't know what the right messaging is to use in that funnel because they haven't actually nailed the foundations of their business. So what I'd like to do is actually talk you through what I see as the 4 key stages of online business and how to know that you've actually nailed that stage and you're ready to move on to the next level of business growth. Having this sorted and understanding the journey can really help you save a lot of money and save a lot of time, particularly when it comes to investing in Facebook advertising, investing your time in creating online courses or memberships, investing a lot of your energy and effort into strategies in your business that actually you're not ready for yet. So I think it's a really juicy conversation for us to have. So let's have a chat first and foremost about the stages of business. What are the stages of business that we are working through to get to the point where we can scale to the $1 million mark in our businesses? Stage 1 I call direct sell, and this is particularly relevant for service-based businesses. When you are first starting your business, you need to get really clear on your messaging and your niche, and you need to start making sales quickly. We want to get into profitability really quickly. The best way to do that is to use direct sell methods to get in contact with and start selling directly to your ideal clients in a very connected way. So the direct sell stage of business would be identified as that time in your business when you are mostly selling to people you already know, or friends of friends, or through referrals. And those sales come through a very short sales process. People aren't jumping onto your list, going through a 12-week onboarding sequence, then being sold a $19 thing, and then having this upsell into this other thing. We're not talking about long-winded and involved and complex processes to get people into your business and start selling to them. The reason being is that you want to build your funnel process from the bottom up, and that means you need to prove that people are willing to pay for your services as quickly as possible, and the fastest way to do that is offer them direct to consumer. So how do you know you've got this direct sell stage of business nailed so that you can start scaling the way that you get people in the door? First and foremost, you know who your niche is and it's really well defined. Not only can you talk about the demographics of your niche, you can also talk about the signs that they and the symptoms that they're experiencing that would let them know that they need some help with something, that you may be the right fit for them, and that there's someone out there that can help them through this process. You would also know at what stage of the journey your ideal client will be at as well, because a lot of people spend time thinking that their audience is that very uneducated, they have no idea what they're doing, they don't even know that they have a problem, and you end up needing to spend a lot of time educating them before they're even ready to buy from you, let alone willing and able. And I also see a lot of people who say, I'm only going to work with people who already understand, they get it, they're committed, and they're willing to invest significantly to solve this issue. But a lot of those people potentially are so far along in their journey, they're already following other mentors in this space, they've got other people that they want to work with, and therefore you're actually in a hotbed of competition. You have a lot of other voices who are speaking to that particular audience. So for most people, when they're in the direct sell phase of business, their ideal client is somewhere in the middle, and they understand the tipping point in the journey at which someone is going to be really warmed to spending some money and investing and working with someone on this particular issue. So sign number one that you've nailed this is that you know exactly who your niche is and it's really well defined. Your niche is not broad, women in business, age 35 to 55 who have 2 children. That's not a niche. And also, a lot of people think the niche is about the desire. She thinks that she's destined for greater things and she really wants to get out of her own way and achieve it. Also, not a niche. A niche is a person, and to be able to define your niche is to understand who she is, what stage of her journey she's on, what is the problem that she thinks she has, what does she think the solution is to that problem, and what is it that she really needs. So you might want to pause this video, go back and listen to those 5 things again and write them down, because that's how you know you've got your niche really well defined. Step number 2, which is very related to that, is that you can present a compelling message. Now, what tells you that you can present a compelling message to that particular person? It's that they give you their money. It's that they purchase the thing that you're talking about. So you can present a compelling message to your audience. You know that when you present that message, the right people are going to say, yeah, that's me, take my money. And you can actually make those sales. And that's sign number 3, is that you make sales every week. So you're not going through these big dry spells in your business. You know that every week you are in business, you're going to sell to some people. So that's another sign that you've nailed that direct sell stage of business, is that you're making sales each and every week. In the Takeoff program, where I help people with this stage of business, our goal is for them to sell to 3 people every week, and one of those 3 people to become a VIP, to be working with them in an extended period of time. And then the final sign that you have nailed the direct sell stage of business is that your tribe will come to a webinar or a free event that you facilitate. Whether that be an in-person free event or whether that be online, you know that you can get a good 50 to 100 people signed up to that, and a good proportion of them will come along. Usually it's 1 out of 5, so 20% of the people who sign up to something actually come along to it for an online event, and then for an in-person event it's closer to the 50-60% mark. So you know that you have nailed that direct sell stage of business because you know who your niche is, you know how to message to them, you make sales every week, and you can get them along to something for free really easily, and just by spreading the word about that thing consistently over a period of say 10 to 14 days. So you can see that there are a lot of core foundations that we get right in the direct sell phase of business. Now the next stage of business is the scale and systemize phase. Now, a lot of people get stage 2 and stage 3 a bit mixed up and muddled, and also a lot of people combine these 2 stages, and I'm totally okay with that, so long as the scale and systemize part isn't lost when you go into the launch and leverage stage. So launch and leverage is stage 3, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail. But I do like to see people really get that scale and systemize stuff working before they go into launch and leverage. So the 4 signs that you are nailing it in scale and systemize is that number 1, your list grows on autopilot. So you have scheduled posts that go onto your page, or you have a really beautiful system that you follow, that you know every single month your list is going to be growing. Now the goal that I set for my peeps when we're working together is at least 100 people per month coming into your list new when you're in business as usual. So, and organically. So you can see, to get 100 people onto your list every single month, 25 people a week, you need to move beyond posting into Facebook groups. And you need to move beyond creating a new thing every single week as well. To really systemize this and have it growing on autopilot, we need to think about, number 1, how are you getting in front of your ideal clients and audiences beyond Facebook communities and things that take your time? Number 2, how can you start to systemize the process of reaching your audience and reaching new audiences consistently? And number 3, what are the avenues and channels that you need to be focusing on? So for some people, it's a YouTube channel, or they need to be focusing on being a guest on other people's podcasts and video series. Maybe they need to interview some big names consistently. There are lots of fun ways that you can really grow your reach. And I'm going to be doing a Tashmas training just on reach alone, because I think this is one area where we can really let ourselves down in our businesses. So keep an eye out for that one later in the Tashmas series. But ultimately, that key sign is that your list grows on autopilot. Number 2, you have a regular content and news cycle. So for me, that is, I release a podcast episode every week or every day in Tashmas, and I do a newsletter to my mailing list every single week as well. So that regular content and news cycle nurtures my peeps, gets fresh content in front of them, helps them to learn about a new concept and move forward in their businesses. So I'm building that trust factor with them, and the fact that I am someone who's going to actually help them in their businesses. And it also provides an opportunity for me to regularly promote to people on my mailing list as well. Number 3, you make sales from emails. So you don't have to have a one-to-one conversation with every single person in order to make the sale. This is really, like, if we look at the root cause and the symptom side of it, this is the sign that you've nailed your messaging and you've nailed your value proposition of your products and services. If you can make sales from an email without having to have questions come in, answer the questions, have objections come in, answer the objections, you understand your market enough to know what the questions and objections are going to be, you can present something really compelling to them that you know they're going to buy, even just if they see it on email, and you know that you've got to the point where you've really mastered the written sales pitch as well. So making sales from emails is a great sign that you've nailed that scale and systemized part of your business model. And then the final stage and the final sign that you've nailed the scale and systemized stage of business is that you follow documented steps in your business. So when you create a blog post or a video or a podcast, you don't just sit down, make it up, and go do everything out of your brain. You actually have the steps written down and you follow those steps. Or when you run a webinar, you actually have your own checklist that you've put together so you know every step involved in creating and promoting and then delivering your webinar, as well as following up with great emails, and you're starting to follow those documented steps. You can also look for spaces to document and follow your own steps through things like your social media presence. So do you have a spreadsheet of all the Facebook groups that you want to be in, what their theme days are, and you're clear on what your process is every single day when you jump into Facebook communities? Or maybe it's something to do with the way that you manage the back end of your business. Do you document the steps to reconciling your transactions in your business? Do you have documented steps on how to deal with customer questions and issues? Do you have FAQs about your services that you could actually give over to someone else and have them actually deliver some of that news and do that customer service part of your journey for you? So in the scale and systemized stage of business, it's just looking for some steps in your business, but something where you can follow documented steps and you're starting to outsource some of those steps. Because the next stage of business, I truly believe you cannot nail effectively without having some form of support, having an online business manager, or having a virtual assistant or some kind of team member to help you in your business. So that's scale and systemize. Your list grows on autopilot. You have a regular content and news cycle. You make sales from your emails, and you follow documented steps and are starting to outsource those. The next stage of business, as I said, is the launch and leverage stage of business. Now, this is where you're starting to leverage your time. So instead of working one-to-one with people, you're working one-to-many. And as you can see, I recommend you start systemizing your business before you get into the one-to-many space. But I understand a lot of people skip that and they need to catch up on it. It's totally fine. We'll work it out together. So you are leveraging your time and working in a one-to-many space. So you're either running a mastermind or you're selling an online course. Maybe you're facilitating a membership program. but you are leveraging your time in the delivery of your services, and you therefore need to launch something consistently to sell that thing. So I was in the launch and leverage stage of my business after a year when I launched the Takeoff program, which is my signature startup program and is still around to this day. Still one of my favorite places to support people. So if you're in the launch and leverage space in your business, you are the kind of person who is probably launching 3 to 4 times a year, and it's that what I would be recommending is you launch the same thing over and over again. So here are the 4 signs that you're nailing it in launch and leverage. Number 1, you have a repeatable launch that converts people into purchasing from you. So you know if you run this webinar and this challenge and you get 500 people through those 2 lead magnets, you get 12 people onto your online course or program. So something along those lines. Now, I've made up all of those numbers, but you have a repeatable launch that you know if I run this webinar and this challenge, or this webinar and then this webinar, and I have these emails and I do this promo and I get this many people onto it, I'm going to convert people into paying clients in my course or program. So you really know you're nailing it when it's repeatable and it converts. The second sign is that you are supported effectively in your business. So you don't feel like you are going to be burnt out during that launch phase of your year. So when you go into launch, you feel like you are adequately and effectively supported, and it's not going to be like this crazy time in your business where you're just like totally freaked out. You're working 12-hour days, and if you don't do it, you're not going to make the sale, so therefore you're not actually going to be able to have a sustainable, viable business. If you're in that sense, you haven't nailed launch and leverage at this stage. Number 3, you can reach new people without time cost. So this is where advertising comes in. Usually in the launch and leverage stage of business, we're starting to use Facebook advertising or other forms of paid advertising to reach new people and bring in new leads for that launch of your course, program, membership, or mastermind. So you know that you can reach new people in your business without it costing you significant time. So you don't have to go into 30 new Facebook groups in order to reach new people. You don't have to spend 20 hours doing 20 podcast interviews in order to reach new people. When you want to reach new people, you have a way of doing it that doesn't cost you a significant amount of time. And the 4th sign that you're nailing launch and leverage is that you are delivering in a way that works. You are starting to get in really significant testimonials, case studies, and people are shouting out to you and talking about you online because your program works. Now, for me, this is a really crucial part of nailing the launch and leverage stage of your business. It's all well and good for people to be saying, oh, I love being in that program, it's so much fun, but it's a significant jump for people to be saying, that program grew my income by more than triple, or that program helped me to lose 15 kilos, or that program helped me to deal with a significant issue that I know it was holding me back in my life, or that program helped me stop yelling at my kids and my house is now a beautiful oasis and sanctuary 90% of the time. So you can see those kinds of conversations, those kinds of testimonials are hyper powerful for potential clients coming into your business and finding out about your program. So you know that you're delivering a program in a way that works and is getting significant outcomes for your audience. So here are those 4 signs again. 1, you have a repeatable launch that converts. 2, you are supported effectively. 3, you can reach new people without time cost. And 4, you are delivering your course, program, or leveraged product in a way that works. It creates results for your audience. Now, the final stage of business is the process orientation stage of business. This is the stage of business that I'm up to. This is the stage of business that you'll see most people who are going into that $1 million mark in their businesses, beyond the $300,000 to $400,000 a year, is process orientation. Now, the 4 signs that you're nailing it with your process orientation are, number 1, you have a well-oiled team. So you don't just have a VA, you probably have an online business manager, you might have a virtual assistant, and you bring on maybe project people for significant projects in your business. So when it's time for you to review your website and create some significant changes to it, You're not sitting playing around with WordPress in the back end of your business, freaking yourself out. You hire people appropriately to keep you in your zone of genius. So you have a well-oiled team, you feel really supported in your business, and you know that you could, for example, go away for 3 weeks and everything would still be okay. Number 2, you are constantly attracting new people into your world. So at this stage of business, I would be expecting list growth in the realms of 500 to 1,000 people per month, and even more than that during a launch. So I know that I haven't nailed process orientation at this stage of my business because it's only during launches that I really have a huge surge of people coming into my list. And my launches would attract about 500 to 1,000 people, but on a monthly basis, I'm still not at that growth level. And that's why I'm hiring a Facebook advertising agency to support me in my business in 2019, because I know that's where I'm really missing out on nailing that process orientation in my business. So you're constantly attracting new people into your world, into your audience, and it's at a significant numbers. Now, my goal for my next launch is to have an extra 3,000 people jump onto my mailing list during that launch process. Number 3, you focus on big decisions and being your business. So you're not looking at all the little tiny things in your business. You're not focused, we used to call it in the corporate world, being in the weeds. You're not in the weeds. You are focused on the big decisions in your business. You are forward, future facing, and you are your business. So when you show up on social media, it's not for admin, it's to be your business. It's to do Facebook Lives. It's to create brand new, awesome content. It's to be present with your audience and be the face of your business. And number 4 is that you are operating months ahead. So you're batching your content at least 3 months in advance. You are operating in a way that you are setting yourself up so that you know in 3 to 4 months' time, you have this launch happening, all the emails are written, the ad strategy is there, you've got all your copy, you know that you need to show up and run this webinar and do Facebook Lives for these 5 days of your challenge, and it's all mapped out well in advance. So you can see this stage of business is really about refining the back end of your business, but also making sure that that marketing machine is working in a really well-oiled way and it's not causing this sense of frustration or also this sense of burnout for you, that when you go into a phase of your business, you've got this new thing coming out, that it automatically triggers this, I have to work hard, I'm burning myself out, I'm not supported enough in my business. So here's those 4 again. You have a well-oiled team, you're constantly attracting new peeps, you focus on big decisions and being your business, and you're operating months ahead. So hopefully that's been a really juicy conversation for you, and you've got some ideas on where you need to focus your energy and attention to really cement the stage of business that you're in right now. The biggest question that I get asked by people is, what if I've already launched online courses and programs and I haven't actually nailed the direct sell or the scale and systemize phase of business? And the answer to that is everything can be worked out and everything can be figured out. Don't freak out, just map out your plan to really get those things working. And the biggest thing I would recommend is getting appropriate support for that. So maybe it's time for you to hire a virtual assistant. Maybe it's time for you to look at working with a business coach who can help you get that stuff nailed much faster than if you were just doing it yourself all along. And that's why my special offer for you today as part of the Tashmas celebrations is I'm offering your first 3 months in the Heart Centered Business Academy at half price. So the Heart Centered Business Academy is my membership program where I support people who are beyond direct sell but who are looking to nail scale and systemize and launch and leverage in their businesses. The Heart Centered Business Academy is a membership program that includes plug and play modules that you can grab at any time and that will help you with those things that are going to help you scale and systemize your business and the launch and leverage stage. The Heart Centered Business Academy also includes 3 live support calls every single month so that you have me as your coach in your business. It's normally $196 per month to be a member of the Academy, But if you purchase in the Tashmas period, then you will be able to join with your first 3 months at half price, just $98 a month for your first 3 months. Now, if you'd like to take up this offer, all you need to do is email support@tashcorbin.com, and the fabulous Ellie and Jazz in my support team will send you all the instructions that you need to jump in and join at this special discounted price. You can also find all of the details with the show notes of today's episode at tashcorbin.com/Tashmas06. There'll be a special link there for you to join the Academy and get your first 3 months at half price. Tashcorbin.com/Tashmas06 is the link that you need. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Tashmas. I hope that you've enjoyed Tashmas so far. We are halfway through, so I have 6 amazing special episodes for you with 6 super juicy offers, plus some competitions and freebies as well. So if you have any questions about any of the Tashmas stuff, please do email us. We are support@tashcorbin.com. And until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. See you tomorrow.